Hello guys and welcome back to another setup video on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 5. This time we are at Spa in the new Audi R8 Evo II. So coming across the line to start the lap then, and we'll have a look at a quick lap guys. Looking over to the left hand side and braking just before the 100-meter board down into first gear and try and use a little bit of throttle, get the car pointed in the right direction before going to full throttle. You see I came out of there with traction control on 2, but you can actually move that down to 1 and get a slightly better exit. Full throttle all the way up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. This is quite a safe setup on the car. You can definitely potentially gain a little bit more time if you move the brake bias a little bit more towards the rear and potentially raise the rear ride height. Braking just before the curbs on the left hand side down into third gear and taking a lot of curb through here. The Audi's really nice over the curbs, a little lift for the right hander and try and get the power nice and early. You can use a lot of curb again on the runoff, but don't go too wide because it will invalidate your lap time. Down into second gear, I like to turn in quite early here and really hug the inside curb. Again, you can get a little bit of wheel spin if you get on the throttle too early, and a little bit of a brake in third gear. You can shift down to second there if you need a bit more rotation, but I found it quite comfortable in third. One gear down for P1 and try to carry as much speed through there as possible. That's one of the corners. If you have the brake bias a little bit more towards the rear, you can lose the rear of the car a little bit. Again, braking just before the curb on the left hand side down into third gear and trying to hug these curbs as best as you can. Try to kiss the one on the left hand side because that will help drag you around the corner, but you can see I got a little bit out of shape through there. Down into second gear, and then you're going to be full throttle now until the final chicane of the track. You want to not take too much curb on the inside there because it can put you into a little bit of a slide, and then you will lose a bit of speed all the way down this long straight. Try to make sure you are upshifting at around 8,000 RPM, as that is where you're going to find the most torque and get the best acceleration. And then as we approach the final corner, you can move the traction control down to 1 and move the brake bias a little bit rearward to gain a little bit of time. First gear through here, and I don't get the best exit, but you can see we're quite a bit up on the delta, and we're going to cross the line and do a 2:17.2. so it's not a bad lap time. I think it's the fastest I've been around Spa since the 1.8 update, excluding hot lap mode of course, where you'll gain a little bit more time. And like I said, I think this setup can be tuned a little bit more towards qualifying, and again you'll gain a little bit of time. So let's have a look at the setup now then. It's important to note the temperatures today were 17 degrees on track, sorry, 17 degrees air and 22 degrees on track. So the main thing here is maximum camber with the tyres, and the rear toe making that negative. That just helps with the rotation through the exit of the corner. Make sure you're using the right tyre pressures for the temperatures of the session that you're in. With the electronics, we've gone 2 on the traction control, ABS on 3, and the TC2 is on 0. And remember that during my lap, I was moving the traction control down to 1 for some of the slower corners. Fuel and strategy, 16 litres of fuel gives you 3 flying laps, but the first one is often a little bit slower. Then we've got the brake pads, both on type 1 of course. So the main changes between the default aggressive and this setup is the rear bump stops we've brought down massively and increased the rate, and also increase the differential preload, and that's again, it's all to provide good rotation on the exit and make sure we've got stability when we come off the brakes and turn into the corner. The dampers, I haven't changed much here. I don't normally modify the dampers too much unless the car's really unstable over curbs or over bumps. I think I did bring the front bump rates down a little bit though. So looking at the aero, we've gone 5 on the rear wing, and I did try it a little bit lower so we get a bit more speed on the straight, but to be honest, it was faster with a higher wing over the course of the lap. And then we've gone with the ride height, 54 on the front, 65 on the rear, so we get enough rotation. And then the brake ducts were set, so the brakes were getting to a nice temperature with these track conditions. Now, thanks for watching guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can see more setups like this in the future. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again very soon.